No dialogue for lesson 21, just verbs. So in Japanese, there are two kinds of verbs, the RU verb and the U verb. What makes them such? Because they end in ru and they end in u. But there are also U verbs which ends in ru. So it's confusing. But here's how to do it. So you do conjugation. So when you search for a verb in the dictionary, you will find this one, the plain present affirmative form, which is also what you use if you don't have to be polite. So example, if you are sisters or brothers or whatever, and you say you're going to the school, you just say "Gakko ni iku" instead of saying "Gakko ni ikimasu." So you don't have to conjugate it. So what do you have to take note of? The root form and the stem form. The stem form is used to attach mas, which is the polite ending for Japanese verbs. So, for example, taberu, it's a ru verb. You omit the ru, and then you add mas to whatever is left, which is the stem form. For u verbs, for example, yomu, you omit the u, and then you add imas. So it's either mas or imas. It's common. What about negative forms? For negative forms, you have to use the root form. So what is the root form? The root form is the stem form without the I. If there is an I. If there's no I, the root form is the same, I think. So kir, kiri, kar, kari, shin, shini. But for tabe, it's also tabe. So you just add nai or anai to make it negative. So tabenai, karinai, kinai, kakanai, because you can say kaknai, so you have kakanai, you add an a. Oyoganai, tobanai. So that is the negative form. So if you're saying that I'm not going to school, you say gakko ni ikanai. Or you could say gakko ni ikimasen if you want to be polite. So some drills. Lesson 22 is today's plan. The title in Japanese is Kyou wa kurasu ni ikimasu ka? So here they introduce the informal way of saying or of conjugating a verb. Actually, you don't conjugate it. So in the first dialogue, it's between two sisters who are about to go to class, at least one of them. So here it is. Kyou wa kurasu ni iku. So instead of saying ikimasu, she just says iku. Kyou wa kurasu ni iku? Ikanai. Yukiko wa? Yukiko is the name of the sister. Watashi wa iku. So she's going. So if you conjugate that, that will be watashi wa ikimasu. But she just says watashi wa iku. Yugata uchi ni kaeru. Chotto wakaranai. So that would be chotto wakarimasen. But she just says chotto wakaranai because they are sisters. So it's informal. Dialogue number 2 is formal because it's between Mary Carter and Yoko Yamada, who are classmates, so maybe they are not that close. So here's the dialogue. Kyou wa toshokan ni ikimasu ka? So instead of saying iku, she says ikimasu ka? Iie, ikimasen. So instead of saying ikanai, she says ikimasen. Ikimasen. Mari-san wa? Watashi wa ikimasu. Okay. Compare dialogue 1 and 2 and state the difference. Dialogue 1 is informal, dialogue 2 is formal or polite. So you have to conjugate the verbs in dialogue 2. In dialogue 1, you just say the verb stem. Okay. Still at lesson 22. Kyou wa kurasu ni ikimasu ka? So let's do the vocabulary first before we do the kanji. Okay, let's start. Kyo, today. Ashita, Yugata. Yugata. Uchi. Ginko. Yubinkyoku. Byoin. Kurasu. Iku. Ikimasu. Ikimasen. Ikanai. Kuru. Kimasu. Oh, I forgot. Kimasu. Kinai. No, kimasu. Konai. Kimasen. To return to one's home country or base. Kairu. Kairimasu. Kairimasen. Kairanai. Kairu. To know. Wakaru. Wakarimasu. Wakarimasen. Wakaru. Wakaranai. Ni. So you attach this to the place where you're going, and then say kimasu. Mas. So this is the polite ending, and masen is the polite negative ending. Okay. So we have 4 kanji. So let's start. This one is the first character for ashita, which means tomorrow. So it's the combination of the sun and the moon. So this is also used for the adjective bright, but I don't know how to write it right now. So if you see this and you see another sun, that means ashita, and that means tomorrow. Sun, moon, sun. And then these 3 are verbs of motion. So the first one is iku, very useful, high frequency. Ikimasu, ikimasen, and then this one is kuru. So if you're studying Mandarin, this is lai, but here it's kuru. And this one is kairu, which is to return. Lesson 23, weekend plans. So it says, depato ni ikimasen ka? So you use masen ka, you add that to the stem if you want to invite someone to do something. So depato ni, to the department store. Ikimasen ka? Should we go? Or let's go to the department store. Or it's a suggestion. Okay. So let's review the vocabulary first. There are no kanji for today. There's just kanji for surnames, which is... No, this is actually... we've learned this before. This is Yama, which is mountain. And this is Yasuda, which is a surname, which is a combination of this kanji and this kanji, which we have already learned. So, vocabulary first. Weekend, shumatsu, movie theater, eigakan, department store, depato, sea or ocean, umi, mountain, yama, that's the kanji, park, koen, zoo, dobutsuen, bookstore, honya. So they use the suffix ya to mean store. So bookstore is hon, is book. Ya, honya, bookstore. Koko, soko, asoko, so here, there, over there, and doko, where.